So let me give you a hypothetical. I want you to imagine a 6-mile long stretch of water. This water is straight and level and does not flow.
Advanced simplicity takes hold. You'll find the truth from things of old.
So let me give you a hypothetical. I want you to imagine a 6-mile long straight stretch of water. At each end of this straight stretch of water is a bridge. Point A, so you've got 2 bridges. Point B. This water is straight and level and does not flow. At each end of this water is a bridge. Point A, point B. At each bridge there is a plumb bob hanging down to the water.
We are on the road,
even altitude,
suspending judgment until the truth is known. You will find peace within.
Let me give you a hypothetical.
In the midst of all these troubled souls.
Now, on these vertical strings, can you imagine an even altitude? A point at an equal height above the surface of the water below.
Advanced simplicity takes hold.
An even
You'll
altitude.
find the truth from things of old.
And on these vertical strings, can you imagine 2 points? So let me give you a hypothetical. Can you imagine point A and even altitude at these points and point B? And on these vertical strings, we can establish a perpendicular and even altitude and call one point A and the other point B. 2 points. Point A, point B, even altitude.
We are on the road,
2 points.
suspending judgment until the truth is known.
Point A,
You will find peace within.
point B.
In the midst of all these troubled souls.
The point at an equal height above the surface of the water below. Point A, point B. Point A, even altitude. Point B.
There's no end game in mind.
Is the shortest distance between those 2 points?
It's only the truth that we seek to find.
We know the shortest distance
There's no end game in mind.
between 2 points is a straight
It's
line.
only the truth that we seek to find.
Now, here's the question I'm asking myself. How can the distance between these 2 points be anything other than horizontal?
Everyone must see it for
Horizontal.
themselves. The truth
2
there
points.
for you to find.
And then think about, ask yourself, and the water.
And we are live. Welcome, everyone. Not many, I don't know where everybody is. They're all left us alone. This is it's going to be a tough one, this, I think. Did everybody get a chance to see the meeting of the 2 alphas today? It's quite interesting.
You mean Wheatseed and Nathan Oakley?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, I am going through that. I'm at that time. So
I got to learn a lot, right, about, like, there's been a lot of pushback for some of the stuff that we've been doing. Logic, geometry, all of that coming from Nathan Oakley, and some pretty bad words have been said from Nathan Oakley to some of the geometric statements that we've made. Now, today, Nathan Oakley finally admitted that that was baseless, absolutely baseless on his behalf. not geometric at all. So I don't even know why he's getting involved.
I'm not sure because I'm just in the middle of this show, but I have heard few times from him that stars uh, that don't obey standard geometry,
Yeah.
whatever it is. This standard geometry.
Not geometric. It's not geometric at all. I've got a few clips so we can go over it.
And by the way, Witzit was making, and I keep to that opinion that he made very good argument against Nathan Oakley, and Nathan Oakley, instead of addressing that, of course, went to atoms. So, but still, I don't know how it ended because I am not finished with that stream. But so
They were
far,
both kissing each other's ass at the end of it, I think Emma said. It sounds
okay.
like they were, you know, they were against each other at the beginning, but they eventually came around to have the flat earth position where they were both kissing each other's ass. I think I believe it was stated. I'm disgusted myself, really, for the shit that Nathan Oakley said about us. Some of the things he said, from what he said today, he's got no basis on anything geometric or even logical. He's never answered a question about what he's been talking about. Now, we've not only have we had Nathan Oakley to deal with, but we've been dealing with the Globe guys. Exactly the same thing. There's no difference. They won't state their geometry either. And as far as we're concerned, I think neither of them have any geometric basis backing them at all. And the statement, you can do fuck all with an angle, still stands as a geometric truth. But flat earthers and globe earthers alike would like to slander these geometric statements that we make. But, I mean, you're not going to get away from it. Flat earth and globe earth, false dichotomy. They need to have this no proof, or, sorry, not geometric proof, because Nathan Oakley says he can prove that the Earth's measured flat, but he's got no basis of understanding through geometry at all. And people know this, I think. It's 2024, that's what we've got to look forward to. But I mean, this definitely tells us that this is not an arena. This is not anything to do with what we talk about. This is just a load of people imagining that they have proof where they have no geometric understanding at all.
And
How
by the
far
way,
did you get through, Paper?
Let me see.
I've got like 1 hour 26 here on the
I am
clock stop.
58 minutes.
Yeah.
So
So you've not
it
actually
was
got to this bit.
so it was short, let's say, introduction and extroduction, let's say, with Elder Bear, who asked him question about this ground position. I would like to clarify because I am now currently going through this link that Flat Earth Math gave us with this celestial navigation, and I'm going through all of these films with that guy, Anthony Howe, I think this is his name. I am on 11th episode, and he's not talking about ground position. In celestial navigation and in geography, basically, it is just called geographic position, not ground position. So when Nathan Oakley attacked Elder Bear that because it is ground position, therefore flat Earth, it is just incorrect because it is just geographical position, not ground position. They say, they name it, they call it ground position for some reason, but it has nothing to do with celestial navigation because celestial navigation don't use ground. So it's, in fact, correctly, it is only geographical position or geographic position. Simple.
Yeah.
So that's what GP, that's the G in the GP is geographical, not
Yeah,
ground.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay. That's just because I noticed he says ground. He keeps
Yeah,
saying that ground,
yeah,
ground, ground, as
yeah.
if that kind of
Incorrect. It is incorrect.
makes it more concrete, and that's what I noticed. That's
No,
why I kind of
this guy, which is I think navigator,
yeah.
professional navigator. So he never used ground position. Maybe he mentioned something in beginning that it is called also ground position. I'm not sure, but
Mm,
later on he is just using geographical position, of course,
yeah.
and with abbreviation GPO, of course, but with that meaning, geographical. So making argument from some alternative name, because ground position is just alternative name for that, but it is not, let's say, not scientific.
Well, what did you
It's
get out of that answer that he gave to Elderbear? I mean, Elderbear, what did you get out of it? You were the one asking the question. What did you understand from his answer?
Well, yeah, it's just obfuscation for me, really, because as I said, I hear him saying ground, 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 as if that you say something over and over again that people will believe it and they will repeat it. And if you keep saying it's the ground, then people say that, oh, it's the ground. They relate to something physical or an imagined physical. So if you keep saying ground, then it just concretizes that imagination, and that's what I picked up on, and that's why I was asking about it, and then he did say very slowly the ground, then the ground position, the ground at some. So that's why I replied,
Yeah.
yeah,
just because you keep saying ground doesn't make it the ground, which annoys the hell out of him, I'm sure. But yeah, and I mean, initially the question was, I picked up on him saying that flat was a description, and so that was my in to say, well, yes, Brian's logic says it's a description. You can't measure a description, and that is the reason why Brian won't say the Earth is measured flat because of that. Nathan disagreed and said, "Oh no, that's not true," and
Neil
didn't
said
really
he
go in.
did say that, and then Nathan called you a liar.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, in the heat of the moment, lots of stuff. Yeah, some, some is what's the word? Some nuances, can get missed. When your heart's pumping and there's a room full of a lot of people, and that there's all that stuff that goes on, or at least it did for me. And
But what did you
sometimes I'm
get
really
from
calm.
the understanding then? How was it measured flat? Because I mean,
Well, I didn't.
that's what he gave. That was his reply, right? As to
Yeah.
how it was measured flat.
Well, he said that he'd had lots of discussions with me and he'd explained, and I wasn't really getting it or wasn't interested in it, whatever. But today was the first time he'd mentioned latitude to me
Mm.
personally as a reason. So that's why I said, no, you haven't. You never mentioned latitude to me before. And yeah, the more I hear, that if you can establish a horizontal reference, that's why I said measure a horizontal reference, ergo, which is another Nathan Oakley thing, ergo, the earth is flat. If you've got a horizontal reference, ergo, the earth is flat. And that's what it seems to me that is being said, that just because you can establish a horizontal reference, then everywhere is flat. And if you find I was talking to some guys this morning, and they said, "Oh, what about a frozen lake?" I said, "Well, you might find a frozen lake, and you might make some measurements," which turned out to be a guy with a truck, some road cones, a light he'd balanced on top of the road cones, measured with a tape measure from the light down to the cones, driven and measured the distance with his odometer on his car, put some more cones there, and somehow measured the light he saw 7 miles away. And I said, "Is that it? Is that what you've got after 10 years?" Because that's what some of these guys had been around. I said, "Is that it?" Shocking. So I didn't expect anything, and he hasn't answered me sufficiently, really, for me to be able to stand on a soapbox and proclaim to the world that the Earth is measured flat, like a good flat earther should. And that's what I say to them. Okay, but if you have some proof, maybe I could repeat it to somebody else, but I can't. I can't repeat this nonsense to somebody if within me there isn't some a level of belief and truth and understanding of what I'm saying. And as it's a claim, then it deserves investigation, really. And if I'd said, if I came along and into that room today and said, "I've measured the Earth and I've measured it curved," man, they would have been all over me, questioning every little detail of how I'd done it, how I proved it. But seemingly, you can't ask that about this claim that the Earth is measured flat. That it can't stand any rigorous questioning, or even mild questioning, to be quite honest. So I'm not really any more satisfied with the answer. I didn't expect one, and it's become that, oh, they muted me and said, you butt in and you talk over people, and I guess I do sometimes, and because I'm expecting to get muted any moment. And so, it doesn't feel like there's room to kind of sit back sometimes and wait, or listen to another 10 minutes of waffle from people who tell me I can't say anything or speak more than 10 words, and yet they can monologue for ages. So, they've created this situation, and and again, it's difficult because the way Nathan talks, he leaves some gaps. So you think, okay, you stop talking now. And so you
No, no,
start to
no.
talk.
He's doing this for purpose.
Oh, yes, he is. Yes, of
He's
course.
doing.
But yeah,
He's waiting for interruption, and then he come with his
yeah,
rant against someone
mhm,
because here you interrupted me,
yeah,
and
mhm,
calling names, etc.
yeah. And of course, I know what the output is on his stream. It doesn't include me. He would have cut me out. So what I'm perceiving and experiencing, then people outside of that aren't getting that at all, because my voice will have been cut. So it's hard to know what's actually, whether even if I'm talking, even if it's going anywhere, I know it's in the room, it's in Discord, but as far as the live stream, it won't have gone out. And yeah, he leaves these gaps, you start to talk, and then somebody else starts talking, maybe at the same time because of some delay or something, and then I'm thinking, should I give way or should I carry on? And will they give way, or who's got the place, the position here, if you like. It can be very difficult, sometimes to work out. Sometimes I just push through and think, oh well, I'll keep going and see how it goes, and it can sound a bit messy, but I remained I remained muted for the rest of the session, until Nathan left after so many hours, and there's a couple of other people, but generally it was only me and Brenda who were server muted. So I don't know what the fear was of anything I
He
might
did
say
ask
beyond.
you to be muted, though. I mean, Nathan asked
Yes.
for you to be
Yeah.
muted, so maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Maybe they gave Nathan the power to command mods to just mute whoever.
Yes,
Yeah.
and he asked for muting Wixit also.
Mhm.
He was muted.
Yeah.
So
Well, they
yes, he
had a
has that power.
discussion. Yeah. They had a discussion pre-show because of the mess it was last time, and a couple of the mods were talking to Nathan and saying, well, this is our room, and we generally, people talk, quite normally here, and we have discussions, and people have time to speak, and they're not muted unless there's a good reason. Can't say that's always been my experience there, but they were trying to put a lid on this kind of abuse, and it was mostly the abuse that Nathan kicks out. They didn't want that to go on. So they were trying to set some boundaries. Nathan was kind of asking questions about, he was testing that, how far. How long can somebody talk? How long? And they said, well, if somebody wants to talk for 5 or 10 minutes about something, and he said, what? So I want to shut them down immediately. I don't want to hear their nonsense. Immediately, I want to shut them down. Nobody can have a chance to challenge it, or if for the, as he says, for the newbies, he wants them to hear, the first thing they hear when they come into this amphitheater is to hear the earth is measured flat. Because for 10 years, and he repeated that again in some form today, that he didn't put a figure on it, but he had said before, for 10 years he didn't have anything. Basically, he didn't have any confidence in what he was saying. In the early days, he was bombastic because he was trying to, it was a cover excuse me, for his lack of confidence. So he didn't have anything until he came upon this current, the earth is measured flat claim. So, and some people were saying, they were questioning, well,
about that, right? About the claim, we can get on to the,
Yeah.
the personal issues and all of that, right?
Yeah.
You asked how he measured it flat, and he seemed to say something about latitude, which is an angle measurement, and also he implied that horizontal. Right now, there are tools that have been around, well, since the dawn of time, that establish horizontals, and nobody else has ever said that those are flat earth proofs, to my knowledge.
And no, previously to this, no.
Well, when we came into this, me and Spot On and the On the Level crew have been dealing with level being horizontal and nothing else. QE and Nathan know this, but now they've taken that horizontal to mean flat earth, which, I mean, we've been saying for quite a long time that obviously horizontal doesn't mean the earth's flat. But that's what's been taken up by people like Nathan Oakley. And no doubt it's not the end of it. This will not end with the way Nathan Oakley's doing this, because Nathan Oakley now has put forward that just establishing horizontal is flat earth. As ridiculous a claim as it may seem, but Nathan Oakley's either measuring an angle and using horizontal, or just stating that horizontal is flat earth. That's it. Game over. Now, I state that horizontal has been around since the dawn of time, really. The horizon, all horizontals being parallel to the plane of the horizon. Everybody knows this. Everyone knows this already. So you can't really, can you? I mean, how far's that going to go? Where does that argument end? I mean, is it even an argument? I would state not. Go on, sorry, Paper.
Well, just not, because even if this in this celestial navigation, and they say about this bubble sextant on aeroplane or whatever, it is not ground. So how you can have ground position if you are making this measurement of the angle on aeroplane? This is just geographic position. So, and the same is the same horizontal or parallel horizontal is at the sea. They are parallel to each other, and that's it. But they are not on the ground, so it cannot prove anything. So I don't know why they are talking about horizontal when horizontal rather disproves flat Earth than proves. So
Well,
don't know.
could they
Yeah,
prove horizontal? I mean,
With
is
flat
it as
Earth? No.
simple as that? You just have to prove horizontal. And do you think the
Yes,
flat earthers could prove horizontal?
I don't know, but this proof stands alone. So it does not follow from that the Earth is flat because it is non sequitur. So yes, I think that it is easy to prove that the level is horizontal and the horizontals are parallel to each other. Or rather, you cannot disprove that. If you can say that this is only claim, like Charles Flat Earth Math says that this is claim, uh, in order to disprove that claim, you have to prove that they are not parallel. And he says that it is impossible. So the claim stands unchallenged, let's say. So this is at least what people have. Unchallenged claim that horizontals are parallel.
Yeah.
But they say this is still say that it cannot be true because it is globe. But this is not argumentation.
Yeah, I mean,
is it?
the dogmatic globe guys are the ones that seem to have come up to rebut the arguments that we make about level being horizontal or all horizontals being parallel, right? Horizontal and vertical being perpendicular, these geometric aspects of reality, I would say, that we've been talking about for years have now been taken up by flat earthers to imagine that they're flat earth proofs. Like you say, it's a non sequitur that these guys have seemed to have jumped on.
Yeah, so I was thinking it was like a hijacking of some language they've heard somewhere that they try to apply to their thinking to somehow, add some kind of proof to the claim, by saying, like saying ground, 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 horizontal, horizontal, horizontal. You know, the
And that's what annoys me about Nathan, because I think it's really disingenuous what Nathan Oakley's done. He's told people to not bother watching this, right? To not take any notice of what we do. And now he's going against a logical argument by tagging in a non sequitur to hijack all of the proofs that we've come up with. Now, call them not proofs if you want, right? Rebut them in any way you want, but to be as disingenuous as to tell people not to look at the actual proofs, and then to hijack it and just tag on his ridiculous claims of a flat earth. Now, whenever I try and say this in Nathan Oakley's chat or whatever, his little army of followers are now calling me a troll for stating that, level being horizontal is what disproves the flat earth. You can't say that just the horizontal part is the flat earth, because that's a change. The argument that we came up with shows that levels change, elevation changes are measured. So Nathan seems to have bypassed that to say that that is a proof of flat earth. He's literally taken the proof that the earth is not flat to use as a flat earth proof. Now that is well, I don't know, what would you call that? I call that dishonest.
Yes, and I can see some desperation because that's why he's going to ad homs, because he has no rebuttal to that. Even if it is only claim, he cannot rebut that. But he admitted that your argument is valid. Uh, this, if the Earth is flat, therefore, then would be no elevation changes. So he admitted that that is valid argument. So I don't know why he is even talking about still. I would say that he should rephrase his claim about measuring flat Earth, but his attempts to do that with this mean sea level or whatever, it is just nonsense.
Well, no, he didn't use mean sea level today, did he? He used latitude.
Yes, but I am talking in general, but not today. But for me, it is some kind of desperation, because he has nothing to prove this measurement of flat Earth, because it is obviously false. And even on his side, people or flat Earth side people, let's say, they say that, of course, we don't mean it is not literally flat, etc. So it means that they say that Earth is not flat.
Yeah.
So if they say that Earth is not flat, so claiming that it is flat because it is measured flat, it is just nonsense. It is shooting his own foot, because we measure literally. It is literal measurement. So if they say that Earth is literally not flat, so it means that it cannot be measured flat. It is just nonsense. You cannot have both. To have not literally flat and measurement of flat Earth. It is just impossible. This is illogical. To say that you can have flat Earth only in, let's say, analogic sense or whatever, just allegory of flat Earth. But measurement is not allegory. Measurement is literal. This is physical process of doing something in reality. So you cannot say that Earth is measured flat when it is only allegory or whatever. Just silly, really silly.
I mean, we've literally been here for 6 years now, pointing out to people that level being horizontal is provable. It's not misinformation. It's a fact of reality used and done every day practically. A practical use of level is that it is horizontal. Provable. We've done tests. Anybody else can check them out. They'll be we'll be making a thing of them soon. But I mean, it does not prove that the Earth is flat, because in fact exactly the opposite, that level being horizontal is the tool that we use to establish these elevation changes that prove it's not flat. The argument that you see on screen right now is that argument. There's an elevation profile of a canal where I live. I'm actually live on that stretch of canal, the longest straight stretch in between locks. And that's been pointed out to these flat earthers over the years. We've literally tried to get Ranty to come and have a look at the tests. We've been on Nathan Oakley's, showing him the outline of how these tests work. They're geometric tests to go in reality, but they do not prove that the Earth's flat. But Nathan Oakley seems to be imagining that angles and horizontal proves that the Earth's flat. It doesn't. He can't even establish an argument which is disingenuous. And if there are, I mean, there was a lot of people that were watching today. Over 100 people he had watching his show. Now, if they were all flat earthers, then they got to hear Nathan Oakley making a fallacious argument to state that that's how you prove that the Earth's flat, was by measuring angles on boats, which is a ridiculous claim. And we're going to get round to listening to Nathan state this, and then I'll try and go over these the implications of what Nathan's talking about and this angle. So let me get this sorted for you guys. Right, you guys, can you see that? Jump on into the
Yeah.
Right, this is, let me turn this up, Nathan Oakley, today, talking to Whitsit. I've not managed to get many clips of this. This is just one bit that I managed to catch. So here we go.
Measuring things and changing in height means that you can get the world to be perfectly flat and have an almanac that works everywhere at all altitudes, because of the majesty of the heavens and the fact that they don't change in angle when raising in altitude. The very same thing I stated originally. I had then 9 repetitions from you, Whitsit, of an argument from ignorance fallacy.
It's literally not. It's
An argument for ignorance fallacy. So they got onto this. I don't know.
Well, for me, this is just because he is repeating this this answer to it many times, and this is fallacious because he was talking about this lighthouse, etc. And by the way, Whitsit correctly answered his question, because if you have this lighthouse being farther away, and this rate of changing angle will diminish, and because stars are much, you cannot compare. This lighthouse is just silly example, because if stars are, let's say, thousands kilometers at least away from observer, at least, I am not claiming distance, but at least, so changing elevation like 100 meters above let's say sea level, or even 1 kilometer, it doesn't matter. It will not be caught by any instrument, I guess, this change of an angle. But Nathan, for Nathan Oakley, this is proof that stars don't obey standard geometry. And for me, it is just proving from ignorance what he is doing.
Well, we'll get to the the geometric implications of these things, eventually. But I'm trying to catch the bit with Nathan stating about.
see if anyone in the room can be honest, right? So our instruments have a certain level of sensitivity that we can measure, right? And if the change to whatever we're measuring an angle to is below that sensitivity, we're not going to be able to know it changed, even though technically, in actuality, it did change. I am not making any claims other than I am pushing back against your positive definitive claim. If you add the caveat of based on anything that we can do on the Earth, as high as we can go and measure, it doesn't change, that's cool. But to make this like broad...
I did. I did.
He did.
After I jumped in to
Yes,
correct
he did.
the other
And
guy's
what he
statement,
did,
which was objectively...
Yeah, go on.
he invoked astronauts. Whitsit was laughing, was rolling on the floor. And
That was
I was
funny.
also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just
I just want to
said,
say
he
good
brought
afternoon.
this argument. Astronauts they took sextant on this ISS or whatever, so it proves that, of course, his
Yeah,
claim.
it's fat.
Yeah,
I was just stunned.
it's crazy, isn't it?
I just want to say good
lens they'll go
afternoon.
to. Hey, Rob.
Hi, Rob.
Oh,
Yeah, the lens they'll go to try and prove their ridiculous claims.
I couldn't believe it when I heard that. That
Yeah.
is for sure.
You're wrong.
Okay, well, let's get to the nitty-gritty of how this is actually applied. So we're going to test Witzit's understanding of how this is practically useful.
No,
What
you're
we're going
gonna
to do
concede.
with these angle measurements, how we're going to transpose our knowledge of 1 degree for every
Here we go.
1 degree giving us 60 nautical miles, how we're going to transfer that into a practical use when at sea.
Why are you moving the goalposts?
I want to know how much you understand about how useful the stars are, because you have a very specific sky pedal, a grift with ether, and that's directly connected to the stuff in the sky.
Wow. Right. I've obviously missed the bit. Let me get back to. It must be a little bit earlier.
But he is moving goalpost. Yes, because he didn't address his claim about this measuring device that they couldn't. This is basically what I said before. So the distance is so huge that any instrument couldn't let's say see.
Yeah, well, let me get to the
Geometry.
part. Hopefully,
That's
as we get
because I
this.
know if they're far enough away, in theory, you wouldn't really see a detectable change in the angle as you increase to the height of a plane. Okay? And if you want to deny that, you deny basic geometry. And so you can agree or disagree. It was just a point. And I also tried to make it very
thank you.
fruitful and productive to also bring up just the fact that we see them
Can I address
change
that point?
at a certain rate.
So just going to scattergun? No, it's called an argument from ignorance fallacy, based on the fact that I have actually looked at what they do and understand how they work and how they've saved lives at sea. I can unequivocally declare that they don't obey our geometric principles. They don't. Now, you might say, I'm quite happy to say I don't know that whether or not they could be shown to be able to defy them or not. Yeah, well, that's because you don't know Witzit. That's what I've been trying to point out this entire show, that you don't know. And I do. And I'm telling you that they don't obey our principles of geometry. It's that simple.
Extrapolation.
So you say when he's talking about they, he's talking about the angles?
No, he's talking about stars disobeying standard geometry.
But
And
correct
he
me if
knows-
I'm wrong here, right? The light in the sky is just a point.
Yeah.
Now, is a point geometric?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is
It's like the
defined within
first
geometry.
definition within Euclid's Elements. Definition 1. A point is that of which has no parts. And a light in the sky is just one of the points where you're measuring the angle, right? You've got the horizon, the sextant, and the light in the sky. 3 points. Now, which of those 3 points is Nathan saying doesn't obey our laws of geometry, as he says?
He says that stars disobey.
So the light in the sky, the point that he's measuring, that he's using for his angle, that he uses for a proof of flat Earth, doesn't obey the laws of geometry, right? So that angle that he uses isn't geometric, right? That's a non-geometric angle.
Yes, and by the way, it is nonsense because, in fact, if you have this light in the sky and you are shooting the star, as they say, distance to the star is irrelevant.
Well, this has got nothing to do about the distance, right? I mean, I know
Yeah,
that's what
yes.
Nathan tries to say.
So my point is to reboot Nathan Oakley, that you don't need distance to the star, and you still can create legit geometric angle. So it will work. So why it is?
This is just one angle, right? The whole point of us stating when Nathan went crazy at us, right, for saying that we were oversimplifying an angle, right, by saying that they just measure an angle and you can do fuck all with just an angle, right? There's no geometric implications or anything you can do when you obtain one angle. That was the whole point of what we were saying. Now, strangely enough, we said it to Ruhif about Al-Biruni, because it's a little trick that has been performed for years on unsuspecting people about geometry, really. Fooling people about this geometric fact. And it's always been about an angle, one angle. And this is what Nathan Oakley's doing the same. He's no different than any of the people of the past, the shadow giants, confusing people and then never actually stating the case of what they're talking about. This one angle that Nathan Oakley is now stating that they, the lights in the sky, don't follow the geometric principles, but he's literally just measuring an angle.
Yeah, so it has nothing to do with distance to the stars. So, and in fact, the statement that stars disobey standard geometry, it is just a
It's a nonsense.
nonsensical statement, because it does not tell anything. What it even does mean. What it means.
QE said
Because
the other week that they had a triangle. Now, we've said that you can do fuck all with an angle, i.e. you can't just develop a triangle. You can't do anything else. You can't tell any of the distance of either of the lines of the sides of the straight lines that are connected for the angle. You can't do anything with them because you can't put a distance to them. Now, Nathan Oakley and QE and Brian and Adam Meakin all said the other week that it was a triangle. And now Nathan's come in with it's not geometric. Something tells me that Nathan Oakley's applying the blue marble scientific method of stating something ridiculous, then taking it back and saying that it's not geometric. So if Nathan Oakley hasn't got any geometry, he's got no proof. He's got no mathematical statements. He hasn't got a leg to stand on. And yet Nathan Oakley's going round telling people not to come over here. Don't listen to the On the Level crew with the logical arguments, the actual geometry. Don't listen to that. Just go along with some bullshit that Nathan Oakley's coming up with. Thank you very much, gods. Some new members. You get into that member stuff. Into the break. Whoa. We'll be going and telling them all the secrets of the actual geometry. Wonder what Nathan Oakley's going to be doing now. I mean, like, where does this progress to? Because this has gone far worse than I could have ever imagined this to have gone. Nathan Oakley, non-geometric lights in the sky. And all he does is measure an angle. That's all he ever has done. He's ever able to be done. It's one of the only things that you can do. We'll get round to them in a bit. Let's listen to Nathan some of this.
Fallacy.
They would still obey geometric principles
Also,
if they're
you
super far
invented
away.
the gas for hell. Okay.
That's a fact. What I just said is a
This
fact.
far away distance would gas fill it. This far away distance would gas fill it.
There's refracted curvature coming in with gas. Ridiculous claim. Proper flat earth society. We're talking about angles to lights in the sky. Nathan's just said it's non-geometric. And what's he doing? Talking about gas. Where's that come from?
Well, I'm not claiming what's in space or with the stars. What does that have to do with anything?
Yeah, do you claim ether?
You claim the distance. You claim the distance.
You guys don't want to debate me about
So
ether.
would
Let's be
gas
real.
fill this distance?
Yeah, so,
I don't
so
know
they
what's between
answer
us and the
ether.
stars.
Yeah,
When
that's a rebuttal.
Yes, but he's not talking about ether.
No. Nathan Oakley was talking about the non-geometric light in the sky, a point, a non-geometric point for angle measurements to be taken to. So if the angle isn't geometric, what's he doing talking about it, calling it an angle? Because again, that's a definition within the elements. A plane rectilinear angle. If it's not geometric, what is it? What's he doing talking about it as though it's some sort of a proof? It's embarrassing, that's what it is.
Stars, I just answered that.
But if it's a vast distance, then gas would be filling it and we'd be dead, wouldn't we?
You claim the distance.
What? What if the stars are outside of containment?
Hold on, before we move on, Whitsitt does have a valid point. If you're making a theodolite measurement,
If the stars are outside of
and
containment,
you move your theodolite up a tenth of a millimeter, I don't think you'd be able to detect any angular change. Now, maybe you would. Maybe if the mountain was a few miles higher, you wouldn't. I'm just saying the point's valid. To know that geometry doesn't apply to them is kind of.
Right, Jeremy. You saying I don't think you might or might not be able to. If you raise in altitude to a mountain, there is a change. That's a fact.
Right, so if you rise in elevation, there's a change of angle, Nathan Oakley says. That's a fact, as Nathan Oakley says.
Yeah, yes, but still, Whitsitt already addressed that. Because he said that, of course, it will be, but it will be not caught by instrument, because this change would be so small that you cannot notice that, or any instrument couldn't. If it is, for example, below 1 second or whatever. So how could someone? We know that it is implication. If you are changing elevation, yes, angle would change, but the rate of change would be so small that couldn't be detected. So that's Whitsitt's point. And so Nathan Oakley, when he's responding to that, he's not disproving Whitsitt's answer.
It's just about an angle, though, isn't it? Like
Yeah,
that's
yes,
all we're talking about here is an angle. Now Nathan says it's not geometric.
Yes.
I state, I don't know whether Whitsitt's stating it as well, but an angle is geometric. A straight line is geometric. A point is geometric. No denying that, right?
And Whitsitt does not deny that, because he is in fact trying to rebut this claim that stars disobey geometry, standard geometry. So I would say that he is on opposite position.
Well, he's also trapped within a paracosm as well. Also, he has to tread carefully, right?
Yes, but I'm talking only about this specific topic, not about other things.
Yeah, this particular topic can easily be demonstrated with the fact that, yes, you can measure an angle, but that's where the geometry stops. There's nothing you can do with that angle that's geometric, because you've only got one angle. Now, not only Nathan Oakley, but we have Beddy and Shadow Falcon, flat earth math. We have a lot of the globe guys that are also doing exactly the same thing as Nathan Oakley's doing. Now, Nathan Oakley might as well be part of the same team with the words he's using here. This is exactly the same as the Globers. Yes, they can measure an angle. The Globe guys say that they have a right angle too. Well, I think that's what Nathan Oakley would like to do, but Whitsitt doesn't want to go there with Nathan Oakley. He doesn't want to push Nathan Oakley to this other thing, because Whitsitt's going to use it too, I'm guessing. Or, you know, it's encroaching upon a flat earth proof, or rather the flat earth proof has developed a globe earth proof, and now the two of them are all dealing with the same problem of what you can do with just an angle, and they're at a stalemate, neither willing to call the other one out. That's where Whitsitt is.
A tenth of a millimeter.
Yeah, that's a change.
A fraction of.
Yes, that's a change, isn't it?
I know, but
yes, that's a change.
So Nathan's saying here, Jeremy's saying, if you're measuring an angle to the top of a mountain and you lift the base of this, what he calls a theodolite, but just lift your sextant up a fraction, then the angle will change. That's what Jeremy's saying, and Nathan's agreeing with him. Yes, that's what Nathan says.
Yeah,
would you be able to measure it?
Yes.
Would you now measure a different angle to the top of the mountain?
Yes, it would change slightly.
Right, so the angle to the top of the mountain will change. Nathan Oakley.
My point is, there's obviously some point that it would fall below your ability to measure it. Can everyone in the room just acknowledge that basic principle of logic?
Minutes, shark seconds.
I mean, it's just so simple.
Yeah, I don't know about the relationship.
I can easily accept that. Yeah, I can accept that if you're changing in height, that you'll get a change in angle to a mountain. Yeah, I can say that that's a perfectly acceptable statement. The stars don't do that, though.
These stars don't do that.
Yeah, so he's this is a similar, let's say, argument like this microscope. His microscopic changes in elevation.
Is that what he's saying?
So, no, but I'm making analogy, because this is not good example, because we are talking about distant objects, so distant that you cannot. So Jeremy and Whitsitt are trying to say to Nathan Oakley that some objects are so far that they are beyond accuracy of any instrument, and therefore we cannot notice this change of an angle when going up. So this is a point of this is Whitsitt's point, and Nathan Oakley is pretending that he does not understand.
No, Nathan Oakley's saying that yes, if you measure, if you change your elevation, then the angle would change.
Yes,
but not to the lights in the sky.
Yeah,
right
exactly.
Now, I can't say that because I've never done that, never attempted it. But it's my understanding that the 1 degree by 69 miles and the change of 1 degree was at an equal elevation. These measurements were determined with a 69-mile horizontal. Equal
maybe,
elevation.
I don't know, but still, with that distances, I would say that it would be no difference, noticeable difference, because, for example, let's say if the star is some 1,000 kilometers away, at least.
No, look, paper. Forget about that. Right? The only measurement that I'm aware of people actually measuring. now whether this was on a map or whatever, is a 1 degree change when you move either north or south along 69 miles. Right? Now, that angle, to my knowledge, had to be of an equal elevation.
Generally, yes, but of course,
But
if you are changing,
Nathan Oakley is stating not at an equal elevation. Right? So that 69 miles does not have to be at an equal elevation when you measure these changes. Now, if you're saying not at an equal elevation, then how could you state horizontal? Because that 69 miles would not be on a horizontal, because that's the only actual measurement that's ever been made. 60 nautical miles is not a measurement like 69 miles is a measurement. They're not the same things. For anybody listening, 60 nautical miles is an angular measurement, not a distance measurement. So when somebody says 60 nautical miles, what they've done there is they've converted an angle to a distance. In your mind, it's not an actual distance. It's not the same thing. And that's what these guys are missing, I think, in this.
Yes, Bev, 100%. They think you can measure on the water.
Yeah. And that's the reason why. So the only actual measurement that's ever been made is the 69 miles. Now that 69 miles, to my knowledge, had to be at an equal elevation. If Nathan Oakley's saying not at an equal elevation, then that 69 miles isn't a horizontal distance. It's a slope distance. Therefore, the 69 miles might change. Actual distance. But I mean, I don't know, because I've never found anyone that's actually measured 69 miles. They just use the maps.
Yes, so that's my point. For example, if you have a map, so you can plot this distance to the south. For example, 69.
But Nathan Oakley states that all maps are not accurate. He doesn't trust the maps. So I don't know how Nathan Oakley has made these claims, or where these claims that Nathan Oakley's made have come from.
Okay, but
they seem baseless.
Maybe for Nathan Oakley, because for me it is rather simple stuff, because you can just plot this 69 miles on the map, and in fact, if you are taking this measurement again, you are measuring from horizontal. So in fact, change of elevation a few meters or yes, but up or down, it doesn't make any difference.
Nathan Oakley does not state a few meters. Nathan Oakley states thousands of meters. There will be no change. That's why he says the lights in the sky are not geometric.
Yes, and this is what Whitsitt is, let's say, debating with him, because Whitsitt's point is, and this is, I would say that this is valid point, like in debate, because he cannot claim that stars disobey geometry, because he cannot, or some people cannot, measure change. And Whitsitt's point is because if the stars are very, very far, there is no instrument to detect that kind of change.
What?
And he
You can't-
agrees
You
that-
can't put a distance to a light in the sky. That's one of the things about measuring the angle. That's why we state you can do fuck all with an angle.
Yes, and that's the point. So Nathan Oakley cannot claim that stars disobey
Nathan
geometry.
Oakley has made the claim, though, right? That's what I'm.
Yes,
That's what we're
yes.
going after today.
Yeah,
Nathan
yeah.
Oakley has made a claim that he knows this. He knows. We'll go over it here. Listen.
No, what I said is, can we all agree that we have instruments that they measure to a specific sensitivity, right? And if the change fell below that sensitivity, you wouldn't be able to measure a difference, even though it did technically change.
So is that by your standard to suggest that the stars might then change?
Wait, why are you not answering my question?
I'm asking if the inference to your question is to suggest that the stars would ever change in angle when raising in altitude.
Oh, we're not inferring anything. We have to
Oh,
go
I
step
am.
by step.
No, I am.
So you're
I'm not inferring. I'm telling you a fact.
So you're avoiding it in bad faith, is what?
No, I'm telling you a fact that the angle not changing, the fact that the stars do not obey principles of geometry and angles when measuring things and changing in height, means that you can get the world to be perfectly flat and have an almanac that works everywhere at all altitudes because of the majesty of the heavens and the fact that they don't change in angle when raising in altitude.
There you go. Now that is a claim.
Yeah.
That you can raise in altitude and not measure a change in angle to the lights in the sky. Nathan Oakley says that. And that fact proves that the Earth's flat. A non-geometric relationship. Like Nathan Oakley literally has just stated that a non-geometric principle that he believes that can be checked, right? That fact proves that the Earth's flat. Like doesn't even make sense. There's no way that you can reason what he's just stated into a proof for anything other than Nathan Oakley losing his mind.
Yes, as I said, he's shooting his foot. So I don't know why he's doing that.
But nobody noticed it. Not even Whitsitt. I think he even calls Whitsitt with some sort of a fallacy.
The very same thing I stated originally.
Okay.
I had then 9 repetitions from you, Whitsitt, of an argument from ignorance fallacy.
There you go.
It's literally not. It's see if anyone in the room can be honest, right? So our instruments have a certain level of sensitivity that we can measure, right? And if the change to whatever we're measuring angle to is below that sensitivity, we're not going to be able to know it changed, even though technically, in actuality, it did change. I am not making any claims other than I am pushing back against your positive definitive claim. If you add the caveat of based on anything that we can do on the Earth, as high as we can go and measure, it doesn't change, that's cool. But to make this like broad...
I did. I did.
After I jumped in to correct the other guy's statement, which was...
So he did. Nathan Oakley has said this is a fact. He's done it. Although he's already admitted he's never actually measured an angle through a sextant. So I don't know how Nathan Oakley knows this. He's just making a claim, a baseless claim, except it can be checked. And I would state, for anybody listening, the actual thing that was measured on the land is this 1 degree change over 69 miles. Now, Nathan Oakley has stated that 69 miles doesn't have to be a horizontal for this relationship of 1 degree over 69 miles to work, which is a linear relationship. Everyone will tell you that. If you understand what a linear relationship is, how this works, supposedly it doesn't work in this way. I don't know. Or what it's meant to purport to. Who do you reckon's going to look up on it? Who's going to check up on this? I mean, I know the statement that we've made has been that you can do fuck all with an angle. This is the angle that can be measured to a light in the sky. It's just an angle. That's it. Simple. One angle measured over a 69-mile distance.
Yes, and for me, it is, how to put it, if we have this change with 69 miles to Polaris, because supposedly it is originally distance, this distance was measured while shooting Polaris. So, and if we have this change, it means that Polaris is obeying geometrical principles. It's not disobeying.
Yeah.
So it is just false claim.
Yeah, because on the land, the 69 miles can be measured. People could measure that, right? That's a distance, a measurable distance. And the 1 degree is a change to a light in the sky. Also measurable. This is verifiable, this 1 degree over 69 miles. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it means that this Polaris, at least Polaris, is definitely obeying geometrical principles. So we can say that.
Now, where does 60 nautical miles come into it? Where does that come from?
I don't know really from the source. Yet, even this guy, this navigator, is not telling from where it was taken. I am only relying on what I think it was Brian's logic, who said that it is just conversion to have this 1 degree per 60 nautical miles, because if you are measuring angle and you are measuring accuracy, so we have 60 minutes within a degree, so it was easier to divide this into 1 mile. So it is just for arithmetic conversion. It's just it, but I'm not sure.
So that, like, of each of the steps along the way, is that what we're going with?
What do you mean?
Well, so you've got 30 to 31 and it's 69 miles. Are we going to say that if we divide that into 60 parts, that each one of the steps would change by 1 minute of angle?
This miles, yes.
Yeah.
Because if we have 16 nautical miles per degree, therefore, if we divide this into minutes, which is 60 minutes, so we have 1 mile per minute. So this is just supposedly only for calculations, but I am not sure. I'm not claiming anything because I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I am sure that they do a little trick. Now, Tom Walbrand says the angle to the North Star does not change if you are at 1 foot, 100 feet, 10,000 feet, or 20,000 feet.
So that would be a Nathan Oakley claim.
Well, that's a Tom Walbrand claim as well. I mean, Tom Walbrand might be Nathan Oakley under his sock account.
Maybe, but still. So, for me, Witzig's answer is sufficient. because you cannot claim anything because you cannot measure any change in angle. Because in fact we can have examples from real life that if you move up, you will not have noticeable difference in angles.
But yet,
so-
I've still never seen anybody actually do this. Tom, have you actually measured this for yourself to verify that? Or is that just a shadow giant that's told you that? And was that shadow giant Nathan Oakley? Did Nathan Oakley tell you that, Tom? Or have you done it yourself? Or was it somebody else that told you that? Well, pretty simple statement. I've never met anybody that's actually done this. Now, also, did you measure the 69 miles to go along with it?
He said, yes, I am not sure for what. That's why it is better to go into Discord than because it is delay between YouTube and Discord, and it's just better to join Discord.
Would you state that this 69 miles would not be on a horizontal, therefore the angle would stay the same at either end of it no matter what? That would make the angle differ though, right? Wouldn't it? If you were to lift up the 30 end of that, the one that's on screen now, if you were to lift that up, would that angle still be the same? Or would you be measuring a larger angle? Or a smaller angle? Or would it be the same angle?
The same angle would be only in a case that the star is really infinitely far, which is impossible.
But if the star stayed where it was and you rose in elevation, then the horizon would be below you, surely.
Yes,
the horizon would drop, so the angle, if the star didn't move, then the angle would get bigger, wouldn't it?
Yes, but that's why I think that this measurement on the land shouldn't be with horizon, just with horizontal. So
yeah, that's why I said that the 69 miles has to be a horizontal.
Yes, horizontal distance, and then
so
if you are
they
making,
have to be measured at the same elevation.
No, I would disagree, because if you have this horizontal distance and at first measurement you are at elevation whatever, let's say 0, and you have this 69 miles in horizontal distance, like in the map. It doesn't matter if you are higher or lower. If you are taking this measurement from horizontal again,
but then you would have to imply that horizontals are parallel, and you understand that the claim then would be based upon the horizontals being parallel, not the angle.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
The angle has nothing to do with that. That would be horizontals are parallel. You'd have to be claiming that, not the angle.
But still, you can have this angle from this distance using horizontal, just elevation angle. So it is just elevation angle in different locations.
See, Akumu virus says per degree is an arc.
Okay. This is claim, not supported. This is begging the question.
No. No, it's not. I would state the angle trick that you forgot, right? Because the actual angle is measured outside, right? This is what we told Brian's logic. Nathan Oakley, the moment you say 60 nautical miles, you're playing globe games. Dogmatic globe games, because the angle's moved. That's why these guys can state that. The whole point of us saying you can do fuck all with an angle was because of the magic angle trick that none of these guys are willing to talk about. Not even Nathan Oakley, not even Whitsitt. Nobody's willing to talk about it. The globe guys can't talk about it either. We does care about the distance to the star when finding our latitude. We does care. Oh, we don't care. Right, okay, so these are geometric principles. You can either use them or you can't. You can't half have a geometric principle and then say we don't have the rest. That's shifting the goalposts.
Yeah.
It's either one or the other. Expose your tricks. Come on in. Let us expose yourself. Let us know what the geometric properties and how you're doing what you're doing. Nathan Oakley can't talk about it. It appears that Whitsitt can't talk about it. None of the globe guys can talk about it either.
Yes, they are hand-waving problem, because that's why they say we don't care, because our celestial navigation doesn't care about distance to the star. This is just hand-waving the problem, because it is obvious implication that if you have this distance, then and you apply geometrical principles, you have distance to the star. So saying that we don't care or we care, it doesn't matter. You have this distance or you haven't. Simple. Saying we don't care means nothing. So you have or you don't have.
Yeah, that's like Nathan Oakley saying it's not geometric. Well, if it's not geometric, what are you talking about?
So why they are talking about elevation
Distances,
angle being
angles.
triangle?
Yeah.
Yes, trigonometry.
What you talking about? Yeah, if it's not geometric, what's Nathan doing? Why did he say that today? For what purpose was Nathan Oakley stating this? I think he's blowing this whole thing wide open to me. And obviously we know nobody can talk about this. I'm not going to talk about it. Not live anyway. Anybody wants to come and talk, come into the Discord whenever. I'm just pointing out what Nathan Oakley's saying. Nathan Oakley seems to be using geometry, horizontals, straight lines, elevation, no slope, rise over run. He's doing all of this sort of stuff, and then he's stating that this is not geometric. I think he's putting himself in a bit of a hole, because how do you have proof without geometry? What's he talking about? Talking about distances. Are they straight lines? Are we not even going to have any globe takers? Probably not, because how do the globe guys talk about geometry like this?
The Virus is trying, but still, if he assumes curved surface, so it means that one of the sides of this triangle is curved, so you cannot measure angle.
It's not
it
a triangle.
Is just nonsense.
That's not
Yes,
geometric
not
either.
So not geometric, absolutely.
Flat GPT. Is somebody saying that this idea of a 1 degree change over 69 miles. Is there anything wrong with what people can see there in their understanding? Because this is how I understand a 1 degree change over 69 miles. That's how I understand it.
Acomovirus is claiming that it is not true, but of course he will not explain why, or maybe what's the proper number, because
Points are the extremities of line segments, not really lines. A line segment is a line. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, Akumu virus. A line segment is a line. You're not doing some Nathan Oakley, like, not geometry, trying to explain a not geometry in a geometric way to fool people into thinking that it might be geometric. I mean, of all of this time that Nathan Oakley's been talking about his angle and his proof of horizontal, did anybody know that it wasn't geometric? Or is that deceitful? Has Nathan Oakley only just come out today to tell everybody he's been lying to them? Wasn't actually geometric at all. Nothing of what Nathan Oakley was talking about to the lights of the sky was actually geometry. Lines. Flat. No, it's just a straight line. Like a horizontal distance, 69 miles. I know you're a flat earther and you like the word flat, but no, there's no flat in that. It's just a straight line. You know how geometry works with angles. That's a 1 degree change over 69 miles, isn't it? Wouldn't that be the understanding of how a 1 degree change over 69 miles works? Nobody's going to be able to come in. Nathan Oakley can't support himself now. He's got a non-geometric angle to a light in the sky. And that's right, a non-geometric angle. If the light's non-geometric, then one of his points is non-geometric. And these relationships that Nathan Oakley's talking about, it doesn't work. He's been supported by Tom in the chat. Well, what's up with that? You're the ones using flat GPT. You've got flat in your name and you're calling it a flat line. Flat earthers use the term flat, like Nathan Oakley did today, to explain a horizontal. Did you hear that paper? That was a good bit as well, wasn't it? Nathan Oakley explaining flat to be an orientation. He said it was commonly understood within this arena. One of the problems.
If QE was talking about for 1 year or more that level, horizontal, flat are the same, so yes, people have learned that flat is orientation. Yes, that was my objection first. Why adding this flat to everything? Because they want to be flat to be orientation.
Yeah.
Now people are repeating that.
Say, Akumu virus says there's 360 degrees in a circle and 69 miles between each degree. Don't think that's how it works, is it? Those are the angles that are measured at each end of the 69 miles. No magic trick here, is there? That's where the angles are measured, right? The angles are measured by a sextant. And the guy would be positioned where the angles are measured, surely. If somebody wants to say it's different, then let us know. Let us know, how is the angle measured in reality any different than this? Please, anybody there? Let us know. Because I'd state that you have a problem with, well, I don't know. Let's see. Let's see if anybody can come up with how they imagine. Because this is my drawing. You can look at it on the screen right now. I drew this. This is my understanding of how 1 degree change over 69 miles occurs. Like I said to paper, it was my understanding that this 69 miles had to be a horizontal. They had to be at the same elevation. That's how these angles would be measured. $690 miles per 10 degree. Well, that would be a change of 1 degree every 69 miles, Tom. You just make that line longer. Go to 20 and put a marker every degree. That would be 69 miles. That's a linear relationship, isn't it? Isn't that how it works? The lines are straight and the angles are straight. And nobody's got a problem with that, is it? Let's see somebody do us a drawing. Let's have a look, see how it changes, where the angles are measured. Seemed to be that Nathan Oakley was stating that the elevations are the same if you raise in elevation, same angle. That sounds like a geometric term, Akuma virus. 90 minus 60. Why is that?
By the way, I don't agree with that claim that every 1 degree would be exactly the same distance. If we have horizontal, if this distance is horizontal, straight line, of course, it would be not linear relationship. Because if you are moving away, let's say from Polaris, because supposedly this is the measurement, original measurement. So if it is linear, if it is on horizontal, it cannot be 69 miles every 1 single degree, because it would change, of course. If you are going away, this distance will increase. So if, for example, if this, let's say that, imagine this imaginary example that this measurement of this distance was measured between 45 and 44, let's say, for the sake of argument. So from 44 to 43 would be more. And from 43 to 42 would be even more. and more, etc. So if you are going away from Polaris, so every single 1 degree, this distance will increase. So it is not linear relationship. It cannot be within this right angle triangle. It is impossible, geometrically impossible.
Which is geometrically impossible? The 1 degree for 69 miles?
No, 69 miles per every degree. Because
that's why I've put 2 there. I've put 2 angles, right? Well, 3 angles, 2 lines of 69 miles. Are you saying they wouldn't be like that? I say I don't know, because I've never seen anybody that's actually measured this. Although Nathan Oakley's claimed today that he has. He's verified it at changing. The angle staying the same, even with a change of elevation. Didn't mention about the 69 miles though, and obviously that 69 miles could be on a slope.
Who knows? I don't know. But
yeah, that's why I don't know. I don't know how Nathan Oakley measured the 69 miles. I mean, you could say 60 nautical miles, but since you'd be on land, that would be no way for you to be able to prove that, because that's just a direct proportion to the angle. It's not an actual distance. It's assumed from the 1 degree over 69 miles.
Yeah.
So what you have to do is verify the 1 degree of 69 miles first, before you can try changing it to this angle measurement distance.
Yes, and I have no idea how it was verified and if it was verified.
Mm-hmm.
But
I would state that's where we should start. But Nathan Oakley seems to have come in and said that it's non-geometric because the angle doesn't change no matter the elevation.
I have asked this question to Brian's Logic when he was here, how it was, how it appeared to be this 1 degree, and he said that it was from measurement angle change to Polaris, and that's it.
Kumu Virus says angles show arc relationships. Yeah, it's the inclination of one straight line to another.
Yeah,
that is an angle with Kumu Virus. Well done.
Yeah, so if he involves curves, so you cannot measure any angle. It's impossible.
Yeah. And with just the angle and no distance, you've got nothing. You can't perform miracles with this. You're just talking about an angle and a distance. Now, the 69 miles isn't the radius of this angle. It's just the distance between the angular measurements that are taken. And the 69 miles is the change between where these angles are measured. Now, if you're not going to, you're just going to say that that's a distance and they're 2 separate angle measurements with no other relationship other than a distance between the 2, then they're not connected in any way. And you can't really state anything about them. They're just random angles that are measured in 2 different positions. No way of connecting them at all, other than saying there's a 69-mile distance in between them. SQORT. Don't be asking Paige for that. That's Nathan Oakley that's made that claim. There's no measurements of flatness. It's ridiculous. Cannot be measured. Go and see Nathan Oakley. He makes that claim. I don't want to get off topic, but we're dealing with just an angle here. 69 miles. Kumu Virus says 69 miles is the distance between each degree of the circle. What circle? 69 miles is the distance between the 1 degree change.
Yes, so we have 2 circles, not one, on vertical plane, because degree or it's just a section of a circle. So I don't know what he's talking about. He can imagine some circles, of course, beside that. Like globers are imagining below horizontal some circle. They are drawing circles below horizontal. So I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah. Some people do tend to just, you know, try and associate these relationships to circles. But I mean, it's just an angle measurement change. I can't see where the circle is. You'll have to point us out where do you think the angular change is?
Angle is inclination between 2 straight lines. This is what angle is. So degree is also inclination of 2 straight lines. Yes.
And the distance, the 69 miles, also a straight line distance. Therefore, you've got 2 angles, straight lines, inclination between each other, and a distance between them, also a straight line. Kumu Virus, yes. A degree is a part of a circle. Yes. But it's measured to a light in the sky. That's what the angle change is. There's 2, as you can see in the picture, there's 30 degrees in one location and 31 in another location, and then 32 in another location. That's 3 different locations where these angles are measured, and there is a 1 degree change over each of those segments.
Yes, which is, for me, I would disagree with that, because it cannot be the same distance between 32 and 31.
I'm not making any implications, Paper. It's just that's all I've been told.
Yeah, but still, if we have straight lines, it is impossible geometrically.
Geometrically, because the 69 miles. Well, again, nobody's actually come forward as measuring this. Not even measuring these 0.69 miles on a map and going and measuring the actual angle to Polaris. Nobody's even done that, to my knowledge, and we've been here for years. I'd state it's pretty relevant, really, measuring angles to lights in the sky, because I mean, you can't really tell anything about any of this stuff, but this is the claim that people are talking about. Nathan Oakley is using it as a proof for flat Earth. The globe guys are using it for a proof for the dogmatic globe model also. Yet none of these people, Nathan Oakley or the Dogmatic Globe guys, seem to be able to tell us how it works geometrically. Even you've said paper, right? You've given us more saying it can't work. You don't think it can work. Well, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know what you would expect and what it would prove anyway, other than geometry.
Yes, because angular relationship is not mm, one to distance.
Yeah.
So within
Because you
angle.
couldn't implicate that, because the end outcome would be that you started measuring the distance to the lights in the sky. And that would be a ridiculous claim to state anyway. So I'm struggling as to why any side would want to even attempt to use this as any sort of proof of anything. It's easily falsifiable for whatever reason you want. The implications, I don't know why these guys are going forward with it, because the implications of it are that the moment you put a distance and an angle together, then you're going to implicate yourself to a distance to the light in the sky. Can't get around it. Geometry would state that. Why are we talking about water? Has anybody talked about water here at all? We're talking about angle measurements and distance measurements. Can anybody come up with them? Other than Nathan Oakley stating today, where he told Whitsitt he knew what he was doing. It's going stating the ridiculous flat earth shit. How's water horizontal? Asking. Like water going over a waterfall, water going down a river.
We can use water to establish horizontal, yes. It's just it, and this is enough. So
Yeah, it's not enough to state that water is horizontal, though. That's a ridiculous statement.
okay, it may be, but in order to have water being horizontal, you have to make this stationary water. So water level tool is the best to do that. To have water at rest, and you need only 2 points, so it is very easy to use.
Yeah, but the levels of the water within a water level are horizontal, being at the same elevation.
Yeah,
the actual water is in the tube.
Yes,
That's
I agree,
not
yeah.
horizontal, right?
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. I'm
So
just
this
pointing out
ends,
to
so
people that are
surface.
stating things that without actually it seems like when people state that, they've not actually understood how to use water in order to establish a horizontal. They don't seem to make the connection between the water level and the levels of the two ends of the tube being at the equal elevation, equal altitude. Surface of one body of water when placed together and at rest, equilibrium will establish a horizontal plane of reference. But I mean, what does that mean to people? Does it actually mean anything if you don't understand the meaning of the term horizontal? And the water level in particular shows the 2 points of an equal altitude. That's just 2 points. The understanding that those 2 points, whenever you draw a straight line, imaginary, you imagine a straight line between them would be the shortest distance with zero slope. That is what a horizontal is. No, I haven't said that, Tom. I've said that maps are accurate. Don't sort of shout with your caps lock some ridiculous statement that I've never said. This has been happening for years. People misunderstanding and just stating some of your delusional things. Take it back, Tom, or you can go. You won't be coming back again if you're making ridiculous statements like that.
Yes, it is according to Bev. So
Don't be ridiculous.
It means that he is making implications for your statement. It is non sequitur. Please don't do that, because someone will say then that Bev said that. So don't post that ridiculous implications. It is not implication. It is non sequitur. It is not according to what Bev said, what you said. There is no link
According to
between your...
Bev, we must throw away every map.
Yeah.
Like, no.
It is not according to Bev. It is maybe according to you, Tom.
I'm not the one that stated that maps are inaccurate. All maps are inaccurate. I'm the one that stated all maps are accurate to scale. When they triangulated the UK, they did it to within an inch, all points. That's pretty accurate. It's a good standard of accuracy. Now, Nathan Oakley is the one that claimed the maps are inaccurate. Actually, Ruhif stated that the maps are inaccurate. They have to be, because non-developable surfaces. But I state that maps are developable surfaces. They are printed on the horizontal plane. Equal elevation iridium. But I mean, that's irrelevant. Are we... The point here is that we're doing a relationship. Nathan Oakley has stated that the angle will stay the same no matter what elevation. I'm stating that, as far as my understanding is, although I've never seen anybody that's actually claimed to have done this, measured either the angle change over the 69 miles or the actual measurement of the 69 miles. I'd state that the actual measurement of the 69 miles is the hardest one to do, but the angle measurements could be made anywhere. I would also state that all of the horizontals are parallel.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, of course you can.
How would you accurately measure the distance across water?
How would you actually measure the
Well,
distance?
anybody.
I have
Yeah.
no idea. What
Thank you.
are,
That's a great answer.
but now, because from past, as I know, they were measuring but using knots. So that would be because they measured knots per hour or whatever. So that was measurement of speed in let's say like 100 years ago, or 200 or 300 years ago, they were measuring knots. So they were making long ropes, and they tied knots on that ropes in same distances or same length of the ropes of the rope, and they throw it to the water, and they were measuring how many knots are, let's say, going along the ship, and that was their measurement of speed and, of course, distance. But I wouldn't say that it was very accurate. But this is from the past.
Thank you, Paper. That was fantastic.
But now, how they are measuring speed and distance, I have no idea. Maybe still they are using knots. I don't know.
Yeah, the problem is that you don't know the actual current or speed of the water that you're in and in which direction it's going. You can only know relative to the water, and that's why knots were used, because they just measured they threw a board out, didn't they, with the rope, and that sort of stayed within the water. And they just measured the knots, how far the knots passed. But I mean, they could be not moving at all, but the water moving very fast, and it would still show a reading of knots.
Yes, exactly. Especially when they are claiming that there are currents in at the oceans, so the water is moving, so it is not stationary. So I would say that it is very vague measurements. You cannot, or maybe they invented some new perfect system of measurement. I have no idea.
Yeah, I think 10 knots was a nautical mile. That was the estimation at the time. And 10 knots had gone off the piece of wood they were on.
Yeah. How far
again,
was
how
the distance between the knots, though? What was that?
47 feet 3 inches, which was equivalent to 1/10 of a nautical mile each. So yeah, so every 10 knots was a nautical mile. I don't know why 47 feet 3 inches, but well, obviously it's the length of a nautical mile.
Yeah. But again, this is on water, and on land, it's an actual measurement. So the real measurement that can be measured and verified is the one on the land. I can't see why you would want to go to water where you then make an angle, a distance measurement, and relate it to the water where you cannot measure accurately. It's ridiculous at its core for anybody to want to bring this type of an argument into a thing, and especially after today, Nathan Oakley had to claim that it's not geometric. That's surprising to me, that Nathan Oakley would give up all claims for any sort of mathematical basis of any of his claims from here on in. It's baseless. This whole thing that 10th man's give him with the sextant thing is completely and utterly baseless now. So Nathan Oakley only has his claim that the earth is measured flat. That's all he's got. No foundation to it. There's no geometry basis to it for him to fall back on now. He's just got a dogmatic claim that he's telling flat earthers to repeat and parrot. Prove me wrong. Somebody give me something that Nathan Oakley can come back with. He should have took the fallacious modus tollens, the rebuttal to the modus tollens rebuttal to a false dichotomy, to Bob's modus polens. I think you'd have to falsify horizontals being parallel for nearly all of these claims. Even with the 90 minus the angle, that requires a parallel understanding of horizontals too. Geometry will be the undoing of most people, and that's why we've been focusing on the geometry and the logic, obviously, because the underlying facts of geometry are based around an entirely logical approach. And Nathan Oakley has just handed that away. He's just given it away by stating non-geometric.
He's saying standard geometry. So let's be careful, because we should be careful when they are adding some strange words like flat to plane or flat to level or whatever, because they have some purpose. So if he's saying that this is standard geometry, so of course we have also non-standard geometry. So maybe in non-standard geometry it is all right. But what standard geometry means? So this is, I'm just used to that kind of people, like in this arena, let's say, they are using strange descriptions for safety. I would say this is for safety, because if someone will nail Nathan Oakley, he maybe have some exit way.
Yeah, he's just got it's not geometric. He's had to do it.
Yes.
Had to. We've pointed out that you can do fuck all with an angle. And Nathan Oakley's now said, well, it's not geometric. And we say, fair enough. You can still do fuck all with just an angle unless you're just telling stories. Right? Just making shit up. It's like a joke. A joke isn't geometric either. And that seems to be the sort of thing that Nathan Oakley said today. May as well be the same sort of thing. It's like all of those years where I've been doing this, it's just been a joke. It's not geometric. I've been fooling you saying it's an angle, but it's, you know, it doesn't mean anything because it's not geometric. That's why you should actually try and get some geometric proof behind you. If nobody has, then what have they got to stand upon? Like, where's their argument going to be formed? That's probably why there are no arguments. Because nobody actually has any proof of anything. Especially no geometric proof. We're in an arena where people want to talk about shape of things. Yet they've just given up all geometry. Nathan Oakley has. The dogmatic globe guys still have a few magic angle tricks, but they're not going to tell you because they rely on people's ignorance of geometry for them to be fooled by their sophisticated geometric talk. The globe are never going to tell you anything. You know what happens whenever you try and tell anybody from the globe or ask them questions. They give Oakley-like responses of obfuscation, diversion, asking you. They do the subversal. I've been doing it for years. It'll never end. And now Nathan Oakley's got no geometry to his lights in the sky. And that's his entire basis. I can remember people were saying a few years ago that Nathan Oakley used to claim that you can't tell anything about the shape of anything by looking at the lights in the sky. And since 10th Man managed to convince him of this, he's changed his tune. He's now got a non-geometric proof of flat Earth because he's measuring angles to lights in the sky that aren't actually angles. They're not really geometric.
After 10 years, this is sad, really.
Well, I think he was saying something about that earlier today, and it may have been in the early show where he didn't really have much belief. Didn't have much belief in the flat Earth.
So now, as he is multiplying non-geometric proofs or non-logical proofs, so he is more and more confident. So that would be a sign of insanity.
I don't know. I don't know what it is. Tom's talking, if you don't want to learn, it would just be so easy. TFO, do the test bev and prove the world wrong. It doesn't even make any sense, Tom. It sounds like you're struggling. Do you want to write that out again so I can understand what you're talking about? It doesn't make any sense. We are just talking about measuring angles to lights in the sky. It's not civil engineering, because as I'm aware, civil engineers do not measure angles to the lights in the sky. I can't imagine why anybody is talking about that. The topic of conversation is measuring angles to the lights in the sky and the flat earth claim that it is non-geometric. Now, if we have anybody that wants to rebut that with a dogmatic globe understanding, and would they want to come in and say how ridiculous it is for Nathan Oakley to state that, then that would be welcomed. But anybody obfuscating it by talking about something else must be doing that for a reason. I would consider that your flat earth society. Anybody doing that. If you're not focusing on this point that's happened today and you're focusing on something that's completely irrelevant, then you're struggling and you're exposing yourselves as being on the same team as Nathan Oakley and the Flat Earth Society.
Or just learn logic and try to make an argument. At least try. Maybe some people are just saying something and they think that this is argument. Oh, okay. But really, it is not.
I don't know. There's one line there that says with horizontals that are not parallel, coming from Page. It's getting a bit off topic, I think. Do you guys come in here to talk about flat earth bullshit in our chat while we're talking about angles to lights in the sky? Because it's getting too old. I'm not actually concerned about that bullshit that you keep talking about. Are we done?
To be fair, it is Monday.
Model Affliction Monday. Yeah, but we're talking about something here. I don't want to watch the chat talking about. I'm trying to get involved with the chat, right?
Yes.
And the chat doesn't want to get involved with anything we're talking about. So what's going to happen is that the chat's going to have to go. There's no point us having a chat if the chat isn't going to get involved with anything that we're talking about. If the chat's just talking about completely different topics, then it, I don't know what you're talking about.
I understand.
I don't know why I'm talking about this for the people that are in the chat. Yeah, would you please get involved with the conversation that we're talking about? Or are you just happy to talk to Paige about stuff? Or do you want to actually get over and talk about what Nathan Oakley's been saying today? Or do you just want to talk to Paige? Because if you want to just talk to Paige, get some private DMs going. Tom says, if you want to prove that we are wrong, I don't know what you're trying to do, Tom. I'm trying to say, who's done this? Have you done this, Tom? Get an angle to Polaris at the bottom of a mountain and then go to the top. The angle to Polaris will be the same. If that's a claim you're making, Tom, that's what Nathan Oakley made today. But would that be non-geometric? Tom, if you were to do that, that's the question, because that's what Nathan Oakley has stated today, that because that angle does not change, it's a non-geometric relationship. It's not geometric, but the angle is a geometric term. So how could it be non-geometric? Big Blue says most of the lights are called stars. Thank you very much, Blue. Big help. Have you done this, Tom? Can you verify this? Can you go on the list of people that have measured the angle not changing at different elevations?
I've never seen it by anyone.
I've been asking
Just
a few
saying
people.
that.
Nobody's claimed to have done it so far.
Yeah, that's the claim. So Whitsitt has his, let's say his own argumentation. I would say pretty good. But first thing is to support claim that it really doesn't change angle, because this is just claim. So if, for example, someone is using bubble sextant in the aeroplane, so okay, but what's the distance between, let's say, ground and or at sea and in the air? So how high they fly? 1 kilometer above, 2 kilometers, whatever. So we are talking, I think, about that kind of height. But of course, talking about astronauts by Nathan Oakley is just ridiculous. So we can dismiss that kind of argumentation, which makes, for example, for me at least, Nathan Oakley ridiculous.
Well, I think Tom's just verified
astronauts.
what Nathan said to be. He's done it. He's completely backing Nathan Oakley and his, no change of angle to the light in the sky. Now, what Tom needs to sort of say now is, does Tom consider that geometric? Would that be something that you can derive geometrically? Your understanding of the zero change of elevation difference within the angle. The elevation change, but zero change in angle. And would that angle be from a horizontal? Or would you be saying that there's a change from the horizon to the angle to the light in the sky? Is it that stays the same? It's a bit tricky.
Yeah. So people, they literally don't know what they are talking about, because there are some things involved in that, especially if you are using sextant at the sea. So I would say that that kind of argumentation is leading nowhere. So I don't know why Nathan Oakley is claiming that, and it seems for me to be proving something from ignorance. So not very good way of argumentation.
Big Blue says that latitude and longitude are exactly the same regardless of altitude. How about that?
Latitudes and longitudes are on the map, so they are not flying above the map. They are plotted on the map. So
on the flat maps.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
So-
no elevation change on the maps. I'll give you that. Is that what you mean, Blue? They're perpendicular as well, aren't they?
They do show elevation changes on a map.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, contour lines, but the
Yeah.
longitude and latitude on the map wouldn't be with an elevation change. It doesn't change on the thing. But I mean, that would be the same on the same horizontal, right? I mean, the angles wouldn't be measured. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe Blue's done it as well. Have you done the same thing as well, Blue? Were they measured at the same? Because longitude's just time, isn't it? That's all longitude is.
Yes, this is time. This is circle. So and 60, 360 degrees, and so it is a circle. So 15 degrees. It's just an hour for rotating stars and sun and yes, and sun.
It's just midday, isn't it? It's just when midday.
Not only this guy, this navigator, he's talking about also twilight, it is called twilight time or twilight zone. So from how because this when you are shooting stars, so you need to have visible stars and visible horizon, which is just very short period of time, because when the night comes and there is no twilight, you cannot see horizon, so you cannot shoot the stars because it is useless, because you have no reference. So in fact, the celestial navigation with the stars occurs only at twilights, at dusk and dawn. So it's not that they are shooting stars at midnight. It is impossible.
No, it's the midday sun.
Yes, yes. So yes, and
That's
yes.
longitude.
So yes, they are using mainly they are using sun. In fact, of course, they also use the stars, etc., but under certain conditions. And by the way, it is very it is from this guy I have learned that what Ruchif and what 10th man and Nathan Oakley is talking about practical navigation, it is not that, because in fact they are everything it is already done. So they assume many things because they are already calculated. So they are, of course, doing this shooting with the sextant, but you can go around. You can predict this where this the star is, because it is already in almanac. So in fact, sometimes you don't need to use sextant at all. So this is not how they described celestial navigation. It may be done, and he is starting with things. This navigator is starting with things that they can be theoretically done, but they are not in practice. Practically, they are not done because you don't need to do that. And when he's talking about this solving triangle, because he is talking about solving triangle, so this is already solved, and it is put into almanac. But when he is talking about what is put in almanac, he is drawing a triangle on a sphere, and he call it triangle. And he's talking about solving this spherical triangle. So in this theoretical part, which is taken, I think, from some manual, I don't know why he's talking about that, but it is just nonsense. But he's talking about that, that it is supposedly already done and put into almanac. And I really don't believe that it is in almanac. I don't believe that spherical triangles are solved and put in almanac. But he is not talking about that. It is just already in almanac. Solved, allegedly solved spherical triangles. I completely don't believe him. And I don't say that he is dishonest. Absolutely. This is just numbers put in almanac, supposedly solving spherical triangles. And it is, at least to say, it is just impossible.
Yeah, that's the whole problem of the 60 nautical miles to the degree. It's based upon a model.
Yeah, yeah. And it has to be assumed because you cannot solve a spherical triangle.
No,
And
but we
even
can
in,
talk about the not that, can't we?
yeah, of course, whole day. Why not? It will not solve any triangle or any other problem, for sure.
What angle measured, Blue? What's the angle measured? He says longitude is the angle measured west if the prime meridian. The prime meridian what? Maybe of the prime meridian. Latitude is the angle measured north or south of the equator. The angle's measured by a sextant.
I am answering Elderbear because he is asking me in the chat. Celestial this is a channel called the Nav Station, or Nav Station. This is name of the channel, and there are multiple episodes. This guy is Anthony Howe, but it is not written anywhere, so I don't know what this how it is written. But yes, this is his channel, and he is talking about celestial navigation. Let's say traditional celestial navigation or whatever. So using sextant, almanac, etc. So this is from this channel.
And that was given to you by Flat Earth Math.
Yeah, yeah,
not
because I have
Nathan
to be, no, yes, and because I'm doing that because Flat Earth Math said something. For example, that this is possible on the globe, etc. This guy is, of course, sticking to the globe, but he is not saying that this is possible on the globe. And by the way, he is not using anywhere examples, and even he's giving some homework to do in description of each episode, or most of episodes. So examples to solve on piece of paper. So all of them are on so-called northern hemisphere. So it is, but he's saying that it also works on southern hemisphere, but he's not giving any single example from for that. So so far, at least, I am only at 11th episode, and there are, I didn't count them.
Tom says
there are 16. Okay, so I am closer to end than to the beginning, but still few episodes left.
Yeah, Tom says the angle from Polaris is the distance to the equator. See, that's the thing we've been saying. The angle can't be a distance. The angle is just an angle. You can't turn an angle into a distance. I don't get why you're saying that, Tom, or how you can allow your mind to do that.
I'm not sure, but if it is true, but maybe it is true that when Polaris is going to horizon, so it is, they say it is 90 degree, or so it is at equator. So you are at equator. So that is 0 from, you are starting with the latitudes from that. So that is 0. But I haven't measured that, so I
thought
cannot
the
say
equator
anything
was
about
when
that.
the sun was above.
Yeah, this at equinox. Yes, it's above your head. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, are you saying that the Polaris disappears at the same place? I mean, that's handy, isn't it?
Yeah, supposedly, but I haven't checked that. But I think that it is assumed in celestial navigation. I don't know.
Yeah, as like I say, I don't know either. I don't know why, because we are just dealing with the angle. Really, we seem to be getting deeper and deeper into celestial navigation now. Nathan Oakley seemed to have made the claim today that it's not geometric. Is celestial navigation a geometric thing? You know, the guy that you've been watching doing that video, does he seem to use geometry?
Generally, he is using a sphere and this celestial sphere also, because in celestial navigation, supposedly the celestial sphere is projected on globe Earth or spherical Earth. These are the DPs of the stars and sun and the moon. These are projections from spherical sphere, but then when he is doing calculations, he is just using measured angles, which are already in almanac. And when you are measuring angle to stars or the sun, you are just using normal calculations with like within geometry. So it is, and even when he's plotting these numbers into some kind of map, he is saying that this is from Polaris point of view, let's say. So like from the top of the ball. I know that it sounds ridiculous, but this is what he's doing. And in fact, he's making a circle, and he's establishing a prime meridian, Greenwich, of course, Greenwich meridian, and all angles and declinations are measured from that greenage. So, and this is what he's plotting. And I would say that it is geometrical, but but in fact he's
Blue says it's
ignoring.
spherical geometry. Does he
No,
use spherical geometry when he's doing
no,
it? Blue says
no,
it's entirely spherical geometry.
absolutely, he is not doing that, at least till 11th episode, because so far I am at 11th episode and there are 16 episodes. Maybe he will tell something about spherical geometry. I don't know. Till now, he is not.
Does he seem to be talking about straight lines then?
He's drawing curved lines, of course, because it is supposedly on the sphere, but in fact, this is it. He's drawing curved lines because he thinks that he lives on the globe. So, but at the same time, he is drawing this curve, these triangles on the sphere. He calls these strange figures triangles, not spherical triangles. He calls them triangles, and he says that they have been solved already, and they are in almanac. So for me, it is just smelly, because of course you cannot solve spherical triangles, because spherical trigonometry is not about solving spherical triangles. For sure, we know that for sure. So, or he is not knowing what he's talking about, or maybe he's repeating something. I don't know. But he is not doing any trigonometry because he is just using things that are already solved. And he's not saying how they were solved and put into almanac. He's just drawing curved lines. So that's it.
Blue says he's drawing spherical triangles, paper.
Okay, but he does not name them spherical triangles. He says that they are triangles. So he's just mistaken, of course.
So how many angles does he have inside these triangles?
Of course, yes. He has angles, yes. He is drawing angles, and he is drawing rest of an angle, because if you have internal angle of this spherical triangle, you can have, of course, have this complementary angle, and they are using these complementary angles in navigation. So he's, yes. So he's full of angles, full of triangles with curved sides. Yes, yes, that's funny. But he's just drawing them. But of course, when they are shooting stars, they are using straight lines. So sorry, it is just impossible. But yes, this is what he's talking about. He's not proving anything, or not talking about solving triangles, absolutely. And in fact, they are not used. He's talking about the circles of equal altitude, but in fact, they are not using circles of equal altitude. They don't need that. And because in fact, they are using what they call dead recon position and assumed position. And in fact, when you are using assumed position, you are using full degree angles just for convenience. And in fact, they are guessing, and they are this assumed position can be established even without measuring, shooting the star, without shooting the star, because so it is just calculations with. You can use, of course, sextant, but not always. With the stars, it is even easier because they know where the stars are at this period of night, and that's at that season. So you can pre-calculate, you can predict where your position is according to the time of the day or night or and season even. So it is not like they describe this. It is described by Ruchif and Tenthman. And what Ruchif said, because at Maktoon's challenge, he was going supposedly through process of celestial navigation. It is completely off comparing to this guy, this navigator. Completely different thing. Nothing to do with, I would say that Ruchif just made this up to prove something, but this is not how this navigator was talking about navigation.
Well, yeah, to
Completely
my
different
knowledge, Ruhif hasn't ever done any navigation at sea with this. So, Ruhif, what about this guy that's made the videos? Like, what sort of experience has he got?
This guy, it is, he has like over 60 for sure, or maybe even 70. So he's just old guy, and he claims to have just experience. He's navigator.
What sort of experience, though?
Mainly on the boat, but he said something at the beginning. Well, he was talking about himself, but really now I can't remember. But he at least he claims to be professional navigator. So that's it.
But he's not like told you what he's navigated or any of his experiences.
He said something at the beginning, but I forgot. Sorry, because I went through like yesterday few hours and today few hours, so I am missing many things that I don't just have to watch that again, this first episode, because he is talking about himself something, not much, but something.
Seems like he's took you. Is Flat GPT doing some modding? We don't need that sort of stuff. Thank you very much. So the idea was to point out that Nathan Oakley's given up his geometric angle. That's his proof.
Yes, but when he's talking, he's just disproving celestial navigation. So why he's doing that? This is just for curiosity, because he was talking about the celestial navigation, and in fact, 10th man was talking about celestial navigation so long. Nathan Oakley took that narrative, and he is repeating that. He was repeating that. And now suddenly he's just destroying whole celestial navigation, because if he is saying that this angle measurement is saving life. Even on in that stream, he's talking about this that he is saving life. This angle is saving life, and this is beyond geometry. So maybe it is just magic. By doing magic, he is saving lives. I don't know, but for me, it is nonsense. I don't know why he is doing that, because he's destroying his whole argument about this celestial navigation. So I don't know why he is doing that. For me, it is just nonsense, or maybe some hidden purpose. I have no idea.
Does anybody else have any other topics to go over? I think we've exhausted this. I don't think we're ever going to get any rebuttals or anything to any of the facts that we've been talking about with Nathan Oakley. It seems like all of the Globe guys want to prove their stuff. They're not bothered about Nathan Oakley giving up his geometric proofs of anything. They just want to try and push something that I'm not really interested in. I don't really care about celestial navigation. Like I'm like an old school Nathan Oakley. The lights in the sky prove nothing. The maps have already been made by the time they decided to put look at the lights in the sky. I think Nathan Oakley tried to prove that the maps were made by measuring angles to lights in the sky. The maps are of the land, Stephen, as far as I know. The only maps I've ever dealt with are maps of the land. The other ones, I think they're called charts. I wouldn't know because I've never dealt with any of that sort of stuff. I'm not a seafarer. I've never been on a boat, never had to navigate anything. I have measured angles to lights in the sky, but that's about as far as it goes. I wouldn't know what to do or how to do anything else to place the rest of the geometric properties of just an angle. As far as I know, you just measure an angle. That's it. And the geometry would state that you can do fuck all with just an angle. Nathan Oakley has stated that the angle that he uses isn't geometric now, or at least the light in the sky isn't.
Yes, and by the way, it also contradicts this guy, this navigator, because they are assuming, at least he is assuming, or maybe it is assumed in nowadays celestial navigation, that it is this celestial sphere around the sphere Earth. And he is using this 60 nautical miles, and he is also claiming that it is no measurable distance to the stars. So, but they are assumed to be at the same distance. So they are creating the sphere because they assume that they are at the same distance. So they are creating sphere around sphere. So for me, it is just nonsense, another nonsense, because if they have this 16, and at the same time, of course, they are using this 60 nautical miles per degree. So for me, it doesn't add. It doesn't add. How? So something is wrong here, but he's just repeating, I think, what is in celestial navigation manual or whatever. I don't know, but it's not, because you cannot have 60 nautical miles on the curved surface. You have to assume many things. So it is not from measurement, because measuring angle is straight line, so it is line of sight. So it cannot be just involving curve into that, because there is no curvature in that measurement. And the same thing is with his triangles on a sphere and solving triangles, because he was talking quite a lot about solving triangles. Not that he was explaining how it was done. No, he was just repeating that the triangle solved, and he was showing this spherical triangle, and that's it. So you have take it as it is. We have triangle
Blue
here.
says the distance to the stars is assumed to be essentially infinite. Essentially, they're into that at the minute. Essentially infinite, essentially parallel, all sorts of stuff.
Essentially,
regardless of what it is for you, Paper. Well, I think Paper's just saying that the video series he's been watching, Blue, that was recommended by Flat Earth Math.
Yeah, because he was claiming something. So because he is saying that he is relying on that, so I want to watch that, because they are making claims and they are invoking that source. So I will use that to debunk their claims about celestial navigation, because and now I can say that what this guy is talking about has nothing to do with what Ruchif was doing at Maktoons, this challenge. Completely different story. So I don't know. So I can say with confidence that what Ruchif was doing, it was not celestial navigation at all. But supposedly this challenge was about celestial navigation. And many people may think that what Ruchif did, it was celestial navigation. Okay, but it was different, completely different from what that guy was doing in his. And because he is professional, I think he is. He is very fluent with these numbers, calculations, so he has in his head all calculations and this imagination, what he's doing, and he's doing this fluently. So I'd rather believe him that he's professional and not Ruchif's made up new celestial navigation, new globe celestial navigation. So sorry, Ruchif, but your celestial navigation is not real, is as real as your globe.
Tom has put a challenge out to people. He says, I challenge anyone to get a few hundred flat maps and try and line them all together and see what you get. Well, I would say that the UK works under a grid reference system, and all of those maps fit together on the grid system. So I don't know what your challenge is. Would grid reference system maps fit together? Water. And he seems to think as well that a globe is a map. It's not. A globe is not a map. It's a model.
Yeah, they call that projection. even Gleason's map, which someone can say that this is a flat Earth map. It is not. It is projection, and this is projection from globe projection. So it is double projection. So don't be confused. They are both projections. Gleason's map and Google map, they are just projections.
Yeah, but that globe projection comes from angle measurements to the lights in the sky.
Yeah. Okay, I have to go to bed because I have work early tomorrow, so
Okay.
I'll have to go off. Good
Thank you,
night.
Paper.
Thank you very
See
much.
you later.
Good night, Paper. I actually got
Good
there
night.
before you went home.
Yeah, I wouldn't say a globe is a map because, well, there's no really scale to them, and the scale over the UK maps, which is all I know about, right? I haven't got any other maps. I've only got maps of the UK, and they, my understanding of maps, it comes from that. It's based on a grid reference system. Those grids are squares placed, and the triangulation is done, mapped to scale on flat maps. I mean, I can't say any more than that. I mean, the land is not flat, obviously, because the Earth's not flat. One map of UK. Well, the map of Europe. Well, how many? He said hundreds of maps together. I mean, like how many maps are you going to have like that? If it's one of Europe and one of the UK, seems a bit silly. But are you saying that they won't fit together? I don't know. Like I say, I only know that all of the maps in the UK are all based upon a grid reference system. That's all I know. They would have made the maps first and then measured the angles to the lights in the sky once the maps have already been completed. It's not a necessary thing in order to make the map to scale, measuring lights in the sky. It would have been an afterthought. So therefore, completely irrelevant to the map or the actual construction of the map to do anyway. In reality, they're just triangulated positions, and those triangles and everything would have had geometric principles of everybody knows how those geometry and geometric principles work. They start off with the baseline and then they make angular measurements from those to different points and then triangulate everything from that. But the first baseline has to be extremely accurate. It has to be at the same elevation and a dead straight line. No, I don't know what they're talking about again. Peeper's been talking about things that, I don't know, he's been told by people. Now the chat's going mad. Has anybody got anything else that they would like to go over at all? No? Okay, well, we'll finish it for today. If anybody does want to come and have a look, because claims have been made, geometric claims or non-geometric claims, claims of not geometry from the flat earthers today. I think it's ridiculous. But there are proofs within reality of which horizontal, being a straight line lying within a plane, is one of those proofs. Now, that proof does not make the earth flat. In fact, that's how we know that the earth is not flat. So there we go. Stephen Jarvis, thank you very much. Off topic, Bev. How did the Bedford go? Any videos? We do it live whenever we go there. So the actual, you'll have to come into Discord when we do go to Bedford, because I can't be out there and stream into Discord and make the videos, because I do these videos live from my house. I can't be at my house and at Bedford streaming to Discord at the same time. But maybe we might get somebody to go live. But I mean, if you want to come in to Discord when we do go there, we have actually done, we've done a 2-peg test live on Discord to show you the problems and the complications caused whenever you do try and fit a camera to an auto level. We've done that, and anybody that was in here when we did that at Bedford was able to see exactly why we don't place cameras on auto levels to do any surveying. The surveying's done without cameras. We only put a camera on the level because we are called on the level, and we take these tools to other places to give everyone an idea of what it actually looks like when you are looking through these devices. But it's not surveying. It's not a standard procedure. In fact, I don't know anyone else that does those sort of things other than us on the level. We're the only people that do it. It's sad that certain people have to misrepresent what that is and not point out that, you know, it's not actual standard practice, and, you know, there are complications caused by doubling up on the lenses, let's say. Certain people seem to think that they have some sort of a proof when they look at in the background for these things. Who knows? But yeah, we will be going back there, Bedford. We've got a few more things planned, hopefully this summer. I know Rumpus has said he's going to go back, but, you know, Rumpus has done a Jesse Kozlowski. I don't think he's going to be coming back. I said 73 and shy of Discord, but thanks. Well, I mean, are you in the UK, Stephen? Would you like to come and meet us at Bedford whenever we do go and do this? We have got a couple of tests planned. I mean, you can come and get your photo taken at Bedford with the plumb bob. These are only things that happen in reality. I mean, there's no need to be shy of Discord. It does get a little bit complicated, but It's easy to work through, and it's one of the best places to have these conversations, proper conversations as well. Bev, you have Thomas Cook Travel in the UK, right? And they have maps from every country. I don't know what you're talking about, Tom. Or why are you not a Nobel Peace winner? I've not done anything that would require that, Tom. Very strange. There must be a warning not to use a camera with an auto level. Where would I find that? I don't know. But what I would suggest, Blue, is do an actual 2-peg test with a camera fixed to an auto level and see exactly what happens. We have. Yeah, you can still come on the wheelchair, Stephen. You can come and sit on the bridge. There's a nice little pub there, right? Really nice. Let's get someone to drive you. If you are in the UK, then you should get down there. Home of the level. Lovely little pub. Nice English pub. They do some good food there too. We have done other tests, but this next time that we go there, it'll just be a simple. We're going for a few drone shots, camera shots of us with plumb bobs and stuff. I don't know whether we'll take the auto level. We'll take this P1000s, or we want to do a few optic tests. Hopefully there should be. Hopefully, I'm hoping to get to Bedford this year twice, but obviously it depends who we can get down there. We try and get most of the on the level guys. We like to try and get a meeting every year. To hopefully get together down to Bedford. Right, it's just to get together, really, and to say that you've actually been there and done these things. I find that there's not a lot of people like Nathan Oakley claims to have all sorts of arguments, but not aware of him actually using a sextant, actually measuring any angles or anything with them. We just like to show people that we do actually do things. Get out there. Right. Let me sort out a Buster tune. Did everyone get the Advanced Simplicity one at the beginning? Because that's the Bedford test. A pretty simple thought experiment. People to go through. Not had many answers to it yet, and anyone can go through that sort of stuff. Any requests? Anyone got any requests for a Buster tune? No. We're gonna have but it's not a flat earther. This is Blue Marble Science and Flat Earth Math. He came in on Friday, said some ridiculous things. We'll go over that at some point. Thank you very much for joining us. We will be back on Wednesday. Hopefully we'll get round to get off this ridiculous flat earth nonsense and get into back into some logic and stuff. if anybody is from the UK, we will be putting it out when we are going to Bedford, and you are welcome to come and join us. We've got nothing to hide. We are just doing stuff in reality. Anybody can come round. And thank you very much, Stephen. Yeah. Way too far. Are you? Is everybody in the UK? I'd like to know how many people we do have from the UK. When we do go there to Bedford, like I say, we do live stream it into Discord, because it's very easy to do that. That's why we stick to Discord, because it's easy to incorporate the video feed from the phones. Although, you know, once you start going down the embankment into the canal area, then signal's very dodgy. But providing you stick near the bridges, connection seems to be okay. And we do live stream it to Discord. But so really, come on into Discord. That's where the conversations happen, and that's where all of the live action happens also. Pop into Discord, come and have a chat. More than just me talking. I mean, I do most of the talking here, but in the Discord, it's a different matter when we're not live. Come and join us, and we will see you again Wednesday. Hopefully we will come up with some of these proofs. We'll start putting all of this stuff together, let you know what we've been doing. We won't keep it much of a secret for much longer. Okay, so pop on into Discord, and we'll see you Wednesday, maybe tomorrow. I think I might have a video to put out for tomorrow. But thanks for joining us. See you later.
I don't think that was really helpful. But what do you think, Blue?
Well, it's showtime.
And one thing, what has to be emphasized, of course, is that a water level is not a tool for establishing a horizontal. It is a tool for measuring 2 points being level. And I think Blue's also been good on this.
I thought that was a good
if you want to use it to establish a horizontal, but it's not going to be a horizontal at either of the two pot ends, it's going to be in the middle, you then have to use another tool to manufacture a line. To manufacture the horizontal, you have to use through a camera or some other device to generate the horizontal, because the level doesn't. It just gives you 2 points that are at the same elevation, and that's it.
Yeah, well,
no horizontal involved.
Well, if you connect those 2 points, and you just said this a few moments ago, you do establish a horizontal at the midpoint of the 2 points.
Yes, you need another
That's
tool.
kind of the way I felt about
By
it, but,
itself, you do not get a horizontal. You need another tool. If you want to end up with a horizontal, you then need another tool to do that. Either a telescope or something to look through it.
It's showtime.
Well,
Bev will say 100% of the time that water level is a tool that establishes a horizontal point of reference. I say, now wait a minute, there is another definition of a water level. It is a device that establishes 2 points of equal elevation. That's what a water level is.
So,
well, yeah, but you're getting a lot wrong, I'm afraid, Charles.
That's kind of the way I felt.
Then don't ask questions if you're not going to listen to the answer.
Okay, well, go ahead, go on. You answer. Well, you just made a claim that just with 2 pots you can determine the horizontal. Tell me how I could do that and then say, right, the horizontal is here in the middle.
I say, now wait a minute.
Between those 2 pots, how I'd do that then? Go ahead.
I thought that was a good idea. So what are we doing today? What are we doing today, Charles?
Proving that Bev is not a flat earther. And I don't think he understands.
Right, exactly.
You don't understand.
And I don't think he understands. Bev is not a flat earther.
Right, exactly.
It's not my problem if you don't want to learn.
And I don't think he understands.
So today we got the flat earth man, Charles.
You could not generate a horizontal feature or anything just with a water level. You need another tool to use to do that. So by itself, it cannot generate a horizontal plane. Right, but then I need a straight thing, don't I? Okay, I chose to put. Okay, I chose a. I let you get out of it by having a straight. Okay, let's not say a shelf. Let's suppose I wanted to put a football. that was midpoint and horizontal between the two things. You couldn't do it. I chose a shelf, which of course is a horizontal, is a straight line thing. So if I pick a non-straight line thing, you can't do it.
You know, using water to make a horizontal plane.
Right. That's not possible.
Right. Because Bev is not a flat earther.
Right. Exactly.
Don't understand.
I want to put a shelf that's horizontal to those two things. How would I do that with just those two pots? You can't do it.
You just on
They constantly force themselves into denying the idea that you can have an angle between a curve and a straight line, or between two curves. Of course you can. That's fundamental in mathematics. There's no fundamental error. We're just simply avoiding being a pedantic prick. That's all.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, sure. Over distance, you see some really strange things. You end up looking down to see something that is at an elevation higher than you are.
Yes, that's exactly what happened in California.
Right, sure, exactly. Lining the tops of the water up in two vessels that are 60 feet apart gives you a line which we know is technically horizontal at its that line of sight is technically horizontal. It's showtime. Right, exactly.
It's not my problem if you don't want to learn. You just on your own.
Bev keeps on saying this is a tool to establish a horizontal. It's his favourite phrase. I'm going to use that probably even more than horizontal level.
No logic, no wisdom, no worry.
The horizontal level. I think it's important to point out that this is wrong.
On your own.
It's not that.
No reason, no logic, no answers to questions.
And so that's Bev.
You're just on your own.
Another point, verticals are lines and not planes. That's another key thing, whereas horizontals are planes and not lines.
That's true.
Right, but a vertical plane isn't defined that way. The plane itself is vertical, which means, you know, if you were to draw a line orthogonal to the vertical plane, and then measure the angle to that orthogonal, then you would see that one is horizontal and then the plane itself is vertical. Anyway, so Blue, you want to move on?
Yeah, let's. Well,
I don't think that was really helpful, but what do you think, Blue?